Welcome back to another project. In this project, we are going to create blurred background pop-up. As you can see from the final version of the project, we have our main website, which is very simple. It has a background image with a title and also a call to action button, which saying click to join. When we click on this button, a pop-up window appears from the top with a transition, and also we have a blurred background in the back. The pop-up window has an input for email and also a join button and also a close icon at the top right. When we click on the close icon, the pop-up window disappears and also our main website returns to normal and without any filter or blurriness. We can try it again. In the next section, we're going to start with the HTML part of our project. So see you in the next section. All right, let's start our project. First, we open the Visual Studio Code. Here we close the Get Started tab. In the File menu, we click on the Open folder. I would like to create the project in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So here we click on the desktop and we create a new folder by clicking on this new folder button. We name the folder Blurred Background Pop-up, which is the name of our project. We press enter and here we click on the Select Folder button. We close the Get Started tab again, and here on the left side in the Explorer section, we create an HTML file. So we right click here and we click on the new file. We name the file index.html and we press enter. Here on the right side, we have our index.html file, which is completely empty, but we can use an exclamation mark to create an HTML5 boilerplate. So we write an exclamation point and we choose the first auto suggestion, or we can press tab. Now we have our boilerplate, and the first line in the boilerplate is the doc type, which tells the browser which version of HTML the page is written in. And for HTML5, we just need to have here HTML. Then we have the HTML tag, which is the top level element in the HTML file, and it has head and the body tags inside it. Then we have the lang attribute inside the opening HTML tag, which sets the language of the page. And as we are using English in our website, we just need to have en for the lang. Then we have the head tag, which has the meta tags and also the title tag. The charset attribute inside the first meta tag defines the HTML character encoding, and UTF-8 is recommended by the HTML5 for web developers because it mostly contains all the characters and symbols, so the users won't have any problem reading our website. Then we have the compatibility meta tag, which tells the Internet Explorer browser to use the most recent rendering engine, which is Edge. The viewport meta tag tells the browser onto how to resize the page. Let's use Alt-Z to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the codes. And in the content attribute, we have two sections. First, we set the width of the page to devices screen's width. For example, for mobile screen, we have a smaller width than in the computer screen. Then we have the initial zoom level of the browser, which is in our case is 100%. The title tag sets the title of the page, and we can see it in the tabs section of the browser. In order to see the browser here inside the Visual Studio Code, we can use the live preview extension. So we just need to right click and we click on live preview, show preview. Now on the right side, we can see our browser, which is completely empty, but with the title document. We can change the title here and we set it to be the same as the name of our project, which is Blurred background pop-up. All right, we can see the new title inside the tab of the browser. Let's close this Explorer section by dragging this line to the left so we have more space on the right side for the HTML file and also the browser. Then in the body section, we have to add two div with a class of container and also the class of pop-up container. So we have two sections, the container that covers the title of our website and also a button, which is a callback, call for action button. And we just write click to join in it. Then we have our pop-up container that has the offer and input for the email. And also we have a button for the joining inside the pop-up container. So we have two containers. The first container has the class of container, or we can say main container, or just we leave it as a container. Then inside this container, we have an h1 tag, which is the title of our page. We just say welcome to our website. After the head1 tag, we have a button, which is a call for action button for joining to our website. So we add a button here with a class of btn. And inside this button, we just write click to join. We can see the button and the title inside the browser. And after this container, which is the main section of our website, we have another container for our pop-up window. So here we create a div with a class of pop-up container. And inside this div with the class of pop-up container, we have a h4 tag saying, for example, 20% off offer. Then we have a label, an input, and button. So first we add the h4 tag saying 20% off offer. Then we have a label for our input, just saying your email. We just say label for our email, and the label is just your email. For the label, we have an input, and the input has the class of input as well. So we just say input, and also the type of the input is email because we are using it for users to enter their email. So we just add a clone, and we just write down email, and we add a class by adding dots, and the class is input as well. All right, we just press enter to accept the auto suggestion. So now we have an input. We have an input with the type of email. The name is email as well, the same as the label, and we don't need any ID. And we can see it here, the input. We just need a placeholder, so it's just a text inside the input, and the placeholder just saying enter your email. All right, after this label and input, we have a button with a class of popup btn, just saying join. We just say button with a class of popup btn. And inside the button, we have a text just saying join. We press enter to accept the auto suggestion. Now we have the button with the class of popup btn and the text of join we can see here. All right. The other things I would like to have inside the pop-up button is a closing icon. So to close the pop-up window. In order to have this icon, which is a times icon, we can use Font Awesome in our project. So we go to desktop and we click on the Google Chrome. Here inside the search bar, we search for Font Awesome. In the search results, we have fontawesome.com, and we have some subsections, and we click on the icons here. We wait for the website to be loaded, and we can see that we have a lot of icons here, 7,864 awesome icons, and we can search for the times icon. The icon I would like to use is this icon. We click on this icon and wait for the page to be loaded, and here we can copy the HTML tag, which is an I tag with a class of FAS and FA times. So we click here to copy the HTML tag, and we go back to Visual Studio Code, and inside this div with a class of Popup container, under this button we create another div with a class of just say close icon, and inside this div we paste the link that we have just copied. All right. Still, we cannot see the icon in our browser because we must add a link to the CDN of the Font Awesome website within the HTML code. So we go back to the browser and we open a new tab, and here in the search bar we search for CDN.js. CDN.js is a website that provides the CDN for popular frameworks, and also the website like Font Awesome, jQuery, Owl, Crowd, carousels, and search. We can search for all the libraries here. First, we click on the cdnjs.com here, and in the search bar, we search for Font Awesome. In the search result, we click on the first one, Font Awesome, with a version of 5.15. And we scroll down a little bit, and here we click on this icon to copy the link tag. We go back to the Visual Studio Code, and just under the title tag, we paste the link. As soon as we paste the link, we get the times icon inside our browser. I would like to have a bigger icon. So in order to just make the size double, we can just add a class of FA3x. 3x is for 3 times. We can just say 2x for 2 times for the icon. And you can see the instruction inside the Font Awesome as well. Here, for different sizes, you have to write 3x, 2x, 5x, until 9x. All right. That was it for the HTML part of our project. In the next section, we are going to style our project using CSS. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the HTML part of our project. In this section, we are going to start styling our project using CSS. First, we need to create a CSS file. We can open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-E, or we can go to the View menu and click on the Explorer. And on the left side in the Explorer section, we can right-click and we click on the new file. We name the file style.css and we press enter. Before using CSS in our project, we must add a link to the CSS file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html file, and just under this link tag related to the Font Awesome, and at the end of the head tag, we add a link tag. We just write link and we click on the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. Now we can use CSS in our project. We save the file using Ctrl S. We close this Explorer section by dragging this line to the left so we can have more space on the right side. Then we go to style.css and we start from body section. We just write body. We open a set of curly braces, and the only things we need to do in the body section is just to remove the default margin from the body. I mean the space around the body element. So we just write margin 0. Now we don't have any space around the container, the main container, which is here, div with the class of container that covers the h1 and the button. So now we're going to start styling this div with a class of container. Because it's a class, we need to add dot at the beginning of the name of the container. So we just write dot container. We open a set of curly braces. And first we need to bring the items to the center horizontally and vertically. For bring the items to the center horizontally, we just need to change the display to flex. As you can see, the button came next to the h1 tag. In order to prevent this, we just need to change the flex direction to column. The default flex direction is row, so you can see the both items next to each other, but when we change it to column, they come right after each other, and also the first item on the top of the second item. Now we can use align items center to bring the items to the center horizontally like this. After this, we can set the height of this place, the main container, to the height of the screen by setting the height to be 100% of the viewport height. So as you can see, the pop-up section went down after the 100% of the viewport height. Now we can use justify content center to bring the items to the center vertically. Now we have our everything centrally located. The next things we can do is to add the background image to the container. I would like to use the website unsplash.com to get the background image for our website, but you can get it from anywhere you like from the internet. So we go to browser, the Google Chrome, we open a new tab, and here in the search bar, we search for Unsplash. In the search results, we click on the unsplash.com. Here in the search bar, we search for example, computer. I just assume that our website is a tech website. I would like to use this picture. So we click on it and we right click and we get the URL using this icon, copy image address. So we click on copy image address and we go back to the Visual Studio Code, and here we create a background property. We use URL function to add the URL of the picture from the unsplash.com website. So we paste the URL here. As soon as we paste it, we can see the picture behind our website. Let's use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the code inside this container. And we cannot see the picture properly. We can change it. We can change the background size to cover, to enlarge the picture as much as possible to cover all the container. Okay, I think that was it for the container section, and we just need to style the head one and the button at the bottom of this. All right, so here we target the h1 tag, which is this welcome to our website. The things I would like to do is to first increase the size, change the color to white, and also change the font family and add some text shadow. So first we change the font size to be, for example, 60 pixels. Then we can change the color to white. For bringing this text to the center, we can add text align center to the container to bring the inline content to the center as well. So now we have the color white. We change the font family to be impact, and then we increase the space between the letters of the words using letter spacing properties. You just say letter spacing and just add 4 pixels. So we increase the space between the 2 letters. Then we add a text shadow to the text. Text shadow property has the first value in the text shadow property is the position of the horizontal shadow. We set it to be 2 pixels. The next one is the position of the vertical shadow. We set it to be 2 pixels as well. We can see the shadow. Let's add some blur. The third value is the blur. So we add 4 pixels blur. And we don't want the shadow to be white. We want it to be black. So we just change the RGBA. We use RGBA function to set the color. RGBA stands for red, green, blue, and alpha. We set 0 for red, 0 for green, and 0 for blue, which gives us the black color. And for alpha, we set 0.3, which means 30% transparency or opacity. All right, that was it for the H1. The next things we would like to style is this button, which has the class of btn here. So we target this button, just say .btn. We just change the padding, width, we add some margin, and also background color to be red, and we add some border radius as well. So first we start with the padding. We just say padding 10 pixels for the top and bottom padding, and 20 pixels for the left and right. We set the width to be 200 pixels, so we have a bigger button. And then we change the cursor to be pointer. So when we hover over the button, we can see a pointing hand. Then we change the background color, background color to be orange red, this color. And we remove the border, as you can see here. We just say border none for removing the border. And we change the border radius to add a rounded border to the button. We just set it to be 5 pixels. And after that, we change the font size to be 20 pixels. All right. We just need to add some hovering effect when we hover over the button. So we can add that one using btn hovers CSS pseudo class. And we set and filter, and we use brightness function to change the brightness when we hover over the button. You can see now. We can open the website inside the browser. We check it in the bigger size. Here we can see now the button is beautiful, and also our website is fine. The next things we need to do is just style this section, the pop-up section. We don't want it to be at the bottom. We just want it to have a fixed position at the middle. And also we want to add some background color white and the other stuff. First, let's add some class to this container that we have here. We call it active. And we say, if this active class exists, we want this background color, the background image or everything here to be blurred and has some brightness. So we just say active, just say if the active exists, and inside the container. So we want to change the filter to be, we add some blurriness. So we just say blur, we add 5 pixel blur. And also we want it to be a little bit dark. So we change the brightness to be 70%. We can see it. Now, if we add the pop-up at the top, we can see the pop-up better. So before styling the pop-up, I wanted to change this container to see the pop-up better. So now we start with the pop-up container. This class with the class, this div with the class of pop-up container. So here we just write dot pop-up container, and we set the position to be fixed first. Now we can't see it anymore because it doesn't have any positioning. We can bring it from the left 50%, and actually because it doesn't have any width, we cannot see it. So we just set the width to be 400 pixels and height to be 200 pixels. So from the left 50% and from the top 30%. Now we can see it inside our main container. Let's bring it exactly in the middle, because this left 50% bring the edge of this container to the middle. We can use transform translate x minus 50% to bring it exactly in the middle. So let's add some background color white, and we can see it better. But actually we want to add an image behind it finally. So, but first let's style everything. We just use display flex. Let's do it here under this. We just say display flex. We bring everything next to each other, but we can change the flex direction column. And now everything is on top of each other. Let's add some padding. For example, 20 pixels. So everything came inside a little bit. And after the padding, we can, because we want to add the background image. So let's find an image for this one as well. We go back to the browser, and inside the Unsplash website, let's scroll down a little bit more, and we can choose, let's choose this image. That's for an example. You can choose any background image you like. So you can click on copy image address, and we go back to the VS Code, and we change the background, and we change the URL function, and inside a double quote, we paste an image. But as the same as the one we did for the previous div, we need to change the background size to see the image completely. All right. So everything is fine, but we need to install this H4, these things later. But for this this pop-up container, we just add some border radius to have it to be rounded at the corners, 10 pixels, for example, and we add some box shadow. The first value in the box shadow is the position of the horizontal shadow. We set it to be 0. The vertical shadow to be 4 pixels and 8 pixels for the blur. And we add the RGBA black color with the 30% transparency. All right, if everything looks fine, we just need to a little bit style these items. So we go for styling the H4. So we just write H4. We change the font size to be 30 pixels. We add some margin. We just say top and bottom to be 10 pixels, left and right to be 0. Then let's change the font family to be sans serif. And then we change the color to be blue violet. Just an example, but you can choose any color you like. Let's style this label here as well. We just say label. The color is the same as above, blue violet, and the font family as well. Let's say sans serif. And let's style this button first. The button's class here is Popup btn. So we just say btn popup dash btn. It's similar to the one we did for the previous one. We just need to change the background color to be orange red. We add some cursor to be pointer, and padding and font size. So we just change the background color to be orange red. We add some padding, 10 pixels. You can see the space around it. We change the font size to be 20 pixels, and also we change the cursor to be pointer, so when we hover over the button, we can see a pointing hand. For this particular button, I want to add a border, 2 pixels border, and solid. All right. Next, we're going to style the input at the top. So the input had the class of input as well. So which you can just say input, and let's add some border for this as well. Border 2 pixels and solid. We change the padding to be 10 pixels. And we want some space between the input and the button. So we write margin 10 pixels and 0 for the left and right. The last things we can do is just change the font size and also bring this to the middle. So we just say font size 20 pixel and text align center. So I would like to change this color, the color of this enter your email, to be a little bit lighter. So we can achieve this one by using the placeholder pseudo element. We change the color to be light gray. All right. The last thing I would like to do to bring this times icon to the right top of this pop-up container. So we target this icon, and the icon has the class of close icon. So here we just write close icon. We open a set of curly braces, and first we set the position to be absolute. So it went up, but we want it to be at the right 20 pixels. That looks fine. The other things I would like to do is just change the cursor to be pointer. So when we hover over this icon, we see a pointing hand, and when we hover over it, we want to change the color of it to be red as well. So we just say close icon. We use the hover pseudo class, and we change the color to be the same orange red would be fine. All right. So the next things we need to do is just add the active here as well to this div with the class of pop-up container. But the things we do here, instead of blurring, we want to remove this. So we just say if the active class exists, the dot active inside the pop-up container, we want to change the visibility to hidden, so we cannot see it as well. All right, that was it for the CSS part of our project. We added two class active. The second active removes the pop-up window. The first active we added in the first div actually blurred the background image. In the next section, we are going to use JavaScript to add and remove this active class when someone click on this button and also click on the close icon inside the pop-up window. So see you in the next section for the JavaScript part of our project. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the CSS part of our project. We have added a class of active to each container, the pop-up container, also the background container, the main website. So by adding the active container in the main container, we have blurred the container. And also by removing the active class, we can see the pop-up container again inside our website. So we bring back this active class. As a default, we don't want to see the pop-up container, and as a default, we want to see our website clearly. Now, in this section, we're going to start using JavaScript to add and remove this active class from our HTML divs. So first, we need to create a JavaScript file. So we can open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-E. And on the left side, in the Explorer section, we right-click and we click on the new file. We name the file index.js. Before using JavaScript in our project, we need to add a link to the JavaScript file within the HTML code. So we switch to the index.html file, and at the end of the body section, we add a script tag. We just write sc, and we click on the second auto-suggestion, the one with the src. The src attribute defines the destination of the link, and as both files, I mean the index.html and index.js, are located at the same directory, we just need to write index.js for the URL. All right, now we can use the JavaScript in our project. We close this Explorer section by dragging this line to the left, so we have more space on the right side, and we go save the styled CSS file using Ctrl+S, and we go to index.js to start adding functionality to our project. First, we need to bring some elements inside the JavaScript. The element we need is this icon here, because we want to track the click on this button. Another element is the container here, because we want to add the class active and remove the class active from this container. The next thing is the container of the pop-up window. And also we need to target the close button, the times icon inside the pop-up window. So in order to return a class, a div with a class, we can use query selector method inside the JavaScript. So we go to index.js and we create a constant. First, we want to bring the container, the main container here. We just say the name container element. We use the document.querySelector method to return an element with a class attribute. So the class was container. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see this code completely. The next things we want to bring is this button. The button has the class of btn, so we just say btn element equal to document.querySelector, and the class name was btn. After that, we want to bring the pop-up window container. The pop-up window has the class of pop-up container. So we just write const pop-up container element equal to document.querySelector, and the class name was popup-container. All right. Next is this icon with the class of close icon. So we just say const close icon element document.querySelector, and the name was close icon. Now we have everything. We just need to add event listener to this button. So we bring the pop-up window, and also we blur the background image. So we just this button was btn element. We brought it, and we just add event listener method. The first parameter inside the add event listener method is the event we want to handle, and the event we want to use is click. And then the second parameter is a function to be triggered when the event happens. So we want to add the class of active to the container. So we add the class list property and add method. So we just say active. So we've tested. Now when we press the active button, active class added to the background image. And also we want to remove the active class from the pop-up container. So we can see the pop-up window. So for the pop-up container element, we use the class list property and remove method, and we remove the class of active. So we test it. Now we can see it's working. Then we want to add event listener method to this icon here. So we just say close icon element dot add event listener method, and the event we want to add is click, and we want to trigger a function. And also when we click on that one, we want to do the reverse, remove the active icon, active class from the container and add it to this one. So we just copy this and we just remove this section and add this one. We test it. When we click on this first button, we add the class of active to the container and remove the class of active from the pop-up container. Now we click on this one, we remove the class of active from the container. So, and then we add the class of active to the pop-up container. We want this happen with the transition, not suddenly. So we go back to the styled CSS, and for when we have an active pop-up, we want the opacity to be 100%, we just say 1. And when we don't have it, and also we want the top to be 10 pixel, 10% instead of 30% that we added at the top. Popup container, we add the top 30%. And here the visibility was, we changed the opacity here to 0. And we add a transition to everything, just 0.7 seconds. Now we can see, actually, yeah, we did the opposite. We should be, the opacity here should be 1, and when we have it, the opacity should be 0. Now we can see it correctly. So the pop-up window is coming from the top to the bottom with the opacity 0 to 1. And when we remove it, it goes up and the opacity goes to 100%. All right. And also the blur, we don't want this blur to happen suddenly. So for the container, main container, we just add a transition on the filter. And we want this to be 0.7 second as well. So when we do this, we see a transition on this browser has a little bit of like a problem. You can test it inside the main browser. You can see now here is more smooth. Actually, adding transition actually a little bit consumes CPU for the user. So without having transition, your website is going to work better for the user. All right, that was it for our project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. So see you in the next project.